welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on an absolutely atrocious day in terms of weather here in the UK. It is filthy, but we're going to cheer ourselves up by having a look at this extraordinary looking puzzle by XeonRisq. I think I have done an XeonRisq puzzle on the channel before. That name rings a bell. And this is called Sudo-Cube for, I hope, obvious reasons. It's rather beautiful. I love the idea of this. We've got some German whispers, some Renban, and some little killer clues by the looks of things. Yeah, I'll read you the rules in just a moment. I don't know much about this one, by the way. Mark has passed this on to me with no hint about whether it's very difficult or not. So I hope it's not too difficult because I haven't got that long to solve it. Anyway, what else did I want to tell you? Two things. Firstly, I need to congratulate two people who have managed to solve already October's Patreon reward. So, well done to Shui Wu and Jan Gazelius. And their entries came in this morning, quite early on this morning, within 1 minute of each other. And they are the only two entries we've had so far. So, that really does say that they have done an incredible job to make their way through, I think, the 15 or 16 Sudoku puzzles in the lockout line hunt. So very well done to you both. Shui Wu was first, but I do feel guilty only giving away one key. So we will give a key to both of you. So you will each get the key to play Bubba Is You very soon. Look out for your email inbox, and the keys will arrive. Now, if you haven't got through all the puzzles yet, I would suggest you keep going, because this, I imagine, you will have quite a reasonable chance if you can solve all the puzzles at any time in the next 18 days. You've got until the 20th of October to submit an entry. And, well, both Shui and Jan said that the puzzles were absolutely incredible. So if you haven't tried them yet, if you're a patron of the channel and you haven't tried the puzzles yet, do get yourself over there and have a go. Now, speaking of Bubba Is You, Mark and I are going to recommence our streaming attempt on Tuesday evening at 10 PM UK time. So we're going to carry on trying to make our way through the Bubba Is You game. We've had a lot of fun so far and a certain amount of echoing. And there was a very amusing somebody, I can't remember their name, but they did tweet us a dance track that they seem to have made out of our 5 minutes streaming attempt the other night, which was quite funny indeed. Anyway, with that all said and done, let's get on to Sudo-Cube, and I'll read you the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits on a grey line must be we've got between lines as well. Digits on a grey line must be between the digits on that line's circled ends. So that means, I presume these grey lines they must go all the way between the circles. So between these two circles here, let's imagine these squares were, I don't know, 2, 5 and 7. Now the circled ends would have to sort of encompass those digits. So one of them would have to be a 1 in this instance, because it's got to be lower than the lowest digit, which is a 2. The other would have to be higher than the 7, so it could be an 8 or a 9, in order to make sure that the numbers on the line are between the circled ends. So that's how between lines work. Digits on a purple line must be consecutive in any order. So these are Renban lines. So that means if this square was a 6, this square could be a 5, this square could be a 4, or it could go 4, 5 like that. They don't have to be in any particular order. They just, all three of them together have to be consecutive. Adjacent digits on a green line must have a difference of 5 or more. So these are German whispers lines. So let's imagine this square was a 3. Now this square could be an 8, and this square could be a 2. So why does this work? Well, you can see that once we pick 3 for this digit, this has to be at least 5 away from 3, so that could be 8 or 9, although 9 is going to be a problem for the between line. So this could be 3, then 8, and then this square has to be 5 different from 8 at least, so it could be 3 again, but obviously that will break the rules of Sudoku. So it could be 2 or it could be 1, although again 1 is going to give you a problem on the between line, because remember, these circles have to encompass the digits, so one of these digits would now have to be a 0, and although the software will allow it, Sudoku rules won't, so don't do that, you'll get the puzzle wrong. Clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits along the indicated diagonal. Digits can repeat along such a diagonal if allowed by other rules. So that means these 5 cells here have to sum up to 22, and we can repeat digits if we want to. So let's try and do that. 5, 5, 5, that would be 15. These two would have to add up to 7, and there would be a variety of ways of doing that. Now, do have a go. Let's see if everyone can crack the Sudo-Cube. Now I get to, oh, if you want to have a go, you click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I get a given digit today, which is a 2. There seem to be a lot of 2s in the clues. Now, do we think that... I'm just trying to think about what I think the most restrictive part of the puzzle is. I suppose the 22 diagonal here must have a 9 on it. 22 in 3 cells, if the digits have to be different, is either going to be 6, 7 and 9, or it's going to be 5, 8 and 9. This one is averaging just over 4, so I don't think that's going to be terribly helpful. The German whispers lines feel like they're going to be more constrained to me than the Renban lines. Well, you can never put 5. Let's start with the basics. We did German whispers yesterday, didn't we? Well, you can never put 5 on German whispers lines, because if you do, the digit here would either have to be 5 less than 5, so that's a 0 or a negative number, or 5 greater than 5, which would be a 10 or higher, so not possible. So you can never put 5 on German whispers lines. Oh, right, hang on. Oh, of course, right. Simon, get a grip. Right. What else can we not put on these particular German whispers lines? Well, these are on between lines as well. And on a between line, I even just mentioned this, you can't put 1s and 9s. Because if I put 1 here, one of these 2 squares will have to be 0. If I put 9 here, one of these will have to be 10. So this... Oh, this is hugely powerful. Ah, this is very clever. So, if on this particular German whispers line you can't put the digits 1, 5 or 9, there's actually an implication for that. You can't even put 4 or 6 on this line. Because if you put 4 on this line, what does the next digit have to be? It has to be 5 different from 4, which is going to be 9. Similarly, if you try and put 6 on, the next digit along the line is going to have to be 5 different from 6, which is a 1, which is again a sort of banned digit. It's an embargoed digit so far as the German whispers lines are concerned. So these German whispers lines, and they're all lying between circles, so they're all on between lines, can't be 1, 5, 9, 4 or 6, so they can only be 2, 3, 7 or 8, I think. Right, and I can see immediately that's getting quite interesting in box 5, where I have now managed to create for myself a 2, 3, 7, 8 quadruple. Which means what then? So that means one of... Yeah, okay, so that means this square here has to be a 1 or a 9, doesn't it? Because one of these is going to be a 2, and whichever one is a 2 is going to need a 1 or a 9 on its line, and one of them is going to be an 8, which is going to need a 1 or a 9 on its line. So this will have to... actually, maybe that's not right. Is that right? I feel like that's right, but now I'm questioning myself. If this was 2, and this was therefore... Oh no, that could be 8. Oh, I'm getting confused. Yeah, if this is 2, this could be this would be 7 or 8. This could be, let's say it's 2, 8. This would be 3, no, it couldn't be 3, 7. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, 3 and 7 can never meet on these lines. So actually, hang on, let me think about this a bit more. So if this is 2, this has to be 8, and then this has to be 3. If it's 3, this has to be 8, and this has to be 2. If it's 7, 2, 8, 8, 8, 2, 7. Okay, right, sorry, I don't think I'm actually learning very much here. Or at least I suspect I am, I just can't quite articulate what this means. 2s, 3s, 7s and 8s. 2s, 3s, 7s and 8s. Right, okay, I can see one thing. The central digit here can't be a middly digit. If that's a 3, now I have a problem. Because the way German whispers lines oscillate, they oscillate. They either go high, high, or low, high, low. Now, if we pick a middly digit for this middle digit, now we know both of those are high, but both of them also have to be 5 away from 3, which is impossible. And similarly, if we go for 7, now we know both of those are low, but 3 is not 5 away from 7, so it would break. So this middle digit, I think this is going to apply generally, is going to only be possible to be 2 or 8. Oh, I see. Now in box 5, I've got a 2-8 pair, so I can get rid of... So now I've got a 3-7 pair as well. So if this is 3... this will be 8, and this will be 2. And if this is 7, this will be 2, and this will be 8. So this one is also a 2 or an 8 now. And that must propagate. This is a very strange puzzle already. It's quite interesting, but very strange. I've now got 2-8 pairs all... Oh, I have got 2-8 pairs all over the place. I've got a 2-8 pair here, so that square's got to be a 3 or a 7. And a 2-8 pair here, so this square's got to be a 3 or a 7. Yes, okay. Now I've got this thing again here. I've got this sort of 3-7 and then 2-8 option. So that's going to have to be a 2 or an 8 as well, as is this one. Oh, that's beautiful. Right, now I suddenly know the composition of this 22 diagonal, because it can't have an 8 on it. So this is 6, 7 and 9. Oh, no, I was about to say this square is going to have to be a 9, but maybe that's not correct. No, it is. It is, because you can see we've got a 2 and an 8 on this line, and a 2 and an 8 on this line, a 2 and 8 on this line, and a 2 and 8 on this line. So what are going to have to bound them from a between line perspective? 1s and 9s. So now we can write 1s and 9s into all of these squares, but I think we're going to resolve them immediately because of this one. This one definitely can't be a 1. So must be a 9. So that's a 9, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 9, and we are off to the races here. What a lovely start as well. Okay. So now... Well, now I can write 1 into box 9 by Sudoku. Because I can't ever put 1 on a between line, so 1 goes in the corner. I can't put 1 on a between line, so 1 goes up here. And this is already, the other thing I'm noticing here is there is some weird and wonderful symmetry going on. So the moment we get any digit, we sort of seem to be able to do the logic on it in 2 directions. So when we got this 3, 7, 2, 8 thing, we could propagate it here and here, and the same thing again, here and here. And that might continue, I think. Now, hang on, this digit and this digit must be restricted, because now remember, this is a Renban line, so it's a consecutive sequence. But, yeah, this is good. This is good. So what's this digit? If this is a 2, then this has to be, it can't be a 1, because we can't put 1 on a between line. So it has to be a 3 or a 4, but it can't be a 3 because there's already a 3 in the box. So if that's a 2, that's a 4. And if this is an 8, this has to be a 6. And the same, of course, will be true for this one. So now we know this digit, which is either 3 or 7, and this digit, which is either 3 or 7. So the way to think about this is the Renban line is either going to be 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8. And once we've limited these two options because of what's already appeared in box 5, we can force these two to be the sort of the odd digit out. So I want to say this has got to be a 1 now. Is that true? I'm not sure. It might be. I feel like I want it to be because of this 2-8 pair, but I'm still not sure that's quite correct. Because although one of these has to be a 2, and therefore one of these has to have a 1 bounding it, I'm not sure. Obviously this one can't be a 1. Oh yes, okay, that is good logic. It is good logic, but it's quite complicated as well. Because there is definitely a 2 in one of those squares, we know there must be a 1 on its between line to bound the 2. Therefore there is a 1 in either this cell, or this cell. But neither of these two can be a 1, because if they were, you couldn't fill this cell, because there's no digit that lies between 1 and 1. So the only digit that can be 1 is here. This square must be a 5. Similarly, one of these is an 8, and therefore one of these at least is a 9. Don't know if I know which one it is though. What about this square? This square's got to be a 3, 4 or a 5. Same with that, same with that. 3, 4 or 5 in this cell. Oh, okay. 8. Where's 8 going in box 7? It's got to go in this domino there, because of these 2-8 pairs appearing everywhere. Now we can probably do that logic. Yes, we can do again. So we just mirror the logic and do it vertically to get some sort of restriction in box 3. We've got 2, 8, 2, 8 here, so there must be a 2 and an 8 in these 3 squares. 2, 8 here. There's 2, 8 pairs all over the place in this puzzle. Yeah, oh no, in fact, yeah, okay, look at column 5. Look at these 3 squares. We've got 2, 8, 1 there, and we've got 2, 8, 1 here. So these 3 squares must be a 1, 2, 8 triple. And we can't put 1 on a between line, so this square's become a 2 or an 8. And now we should check this. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 8 here. Have we got this? Yes, we've got the same logic, of course, going along in row 4 and row 6. So these squares have got to be 1, 2, 8. And guess what? We still can't put 1 on the between line here. So now we've got, that can't be a 2 because of the given 2, which I've been ignoring a little bit so far. Okay, can't quite see what this means. So, I was going to say, do we know, it feels like we might have some sort of colouring problem to do soon, because I'm wondering if we can prove these have to be different. Not sure though, actually. And oh, these are Renban lines as well, aren't they? So, yeah, okay. So if this was a 2, let's just imagine this was a 2. What are we going to put on those 2 squares? Well, we can't put 1 on them because this is a between line again. So this would have to be a 2, 3 and a 4. And if this is 8, this has to be a 6 and a 7. So these squares and these squares, therefore, are definitely not as... They haven't got as much optionality as we might have expected. So we've got 3s, 4. So this is either 2, 3, 4. Same is true here. Or it's 6, 7, 8 in some order and 6, 7, 8 in some order. Phone's buzzing again. Let's hope it doesn't go as crazy as it went yesterday. Okay. So, what on earth do we do now? 2. I don't know. It's the short answer. Oh, I've not looked at this 22 diagonal. Sorry, let me just check this. What's this telling us? The answer is... I don't think it's telling us very much at all. Sorry, no, well, I hadn't looked at it, and now I look at it, it's still useless. So I can't blame myself for that. 1, 2, 8, 9. We seem to have hundreds of 1s, 2s, 8s and 9s in this puzzle. They are all over the place. One, 2, 8 up here. 2. Can't put a 1 or a 9 here, so this sees 1, 2, 8 and 9 as well in effect. That can't be 1, 2, 8 or 9. That one can be, that can't be. That can't be. That can't be. Can that one be? Oh, actually it has to be. Hang on a minute. These 5 cells I've just highlighted in row 3, I don't think any of these can be 1s, 2s, 8s or 9s. I'm just going to check that. So this one clearly can't be. This one can't be. It sees 1, a 2, 8 pair and a 9. This one can't be. It's a 3 or a 7. This one can't be. It sees 2 and 8. It's on a between line, so it can't be 1 or 9. And this one sees 1, 2, 8 or 9. So in this row, where are we putting 1s, 2s, 8s and 9s? And I think there are only 4 cells left. These 4. This one's already labelled, so let's label up the others and see if we can limit anything. 1, 2, 8, 9. That can't be 2. That's on a between line, so that can't be 1 or 9. This is down to 2 or 8. It would be lovely if it was a 2, because that would force 1 here. If it's an 8, unfortunately, this can be just about anything. And this, that square can't be 1. So have we got... No. Bobbins, okay. Now I'm wondering, can I do the same in column 3 because of the symmetry? So let's just have a think about this. This can't be 1, 2, 8 or 9. This square can't be 1, 2, 8 or 9 by Sudoku. That one can't be. This one can't be. I need one. Oh yes, I've got it. I was going to say I need one more in order to create a quadruple in column 3. I get it there. This sees 1, 2, 8, 9. So there's a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple here. And look at the bottom cell. That's immediately interesting. That can't be 1 or 2. Ah, it's nearly very cool. So this feels like it's very important somehow to me. I really think these quadruples ones. There's a sort of kitey type pattern on ones, I think. Where does 1 go in? Where does 1 go in column 3? One of 2 places. Where does 1 go in row 3? One of 2 symmetrical places. So now we know it's not possible that neither of these is a 1. If neither of these is a 1, you have to put 2 1s in box 1. Right, okay, we can definitely eliminate a 1 from this square, because if this is a 1, what happens to this between line now? And the answer is quite interesting, because this between line now cannot have a 1 on it. It's impossible. What do I mean by that? Sorry. What I mean is you can't now put a 1 in either of those two circles, because this one can't have a 1 on it, neither can this one. So what does that tell us about this Renban line? Well, this Renban line is not 2, 3, 4, because if it's 2, 3, 4, you need to bound it with a 1. But if this is not 2, 3, 4, what is it? Well, it's 6, 7, 8, and that means this square is an 8. And if that square is an 8, we've now given ourselves a very grave problem with row 5, column 1, which can neither be 1 nor 8. So that doesn't work. That's actually very clever logic as well. XeonRisq, this is a very, very interesting puzzle. So this square can't be a 1, and that's huge immediately, because now we can ask where 1 goes in row 3, and it's got to go in this square, and we are off and running again. So we've got a 1 here. I was hoping that was going to give me the 1 in column 3, but I'm not sure it is. Can I run that same trick again? I don't think I can, because I don't have the same restriction on this cell, do I? So we can ask whether this is a 1. If this is a 1, this Renban line is forced to be 8, 7, 6, but that still leaves this with the opportunity to be a 2, which this one never had. Bobbins. Oh no! So this is actually interesting as well, because the symmetry is now broken down. The symmetry has now broken down in the puzzle. I think there's all sorts of stuff going on in this top left-hand corner. I just can't quite get my head around it. We've got 9. If this is 8, you've got double 9 here, which forces a 9 onto the between line. This is 8, you get 9, 9, 9. You call emergency services, at least here in the UK. That reminds me of my favourite, well, not my favourite joke in The Simpsons, but it's one of my favourite jokes in The Simpsons. When Homer gets in a paddy at home, he's in a real tiz at home, and there's some sort of emergency, and he picks up and rings the operator, and he says, "Operator, give me the number for 911. I'm amused by simple things. Okay. So, how is this helping me or not helping me? Is the diagonal somehow relevant now? We have at least got quite a lot of... We've got a lot of extreme digits on this diagonal. Yeah, so it's quite interesting actually. If that's an 8, that cannot be an 8, because these two have these two together have a minimum value of 6, so we could make them both 3. But 8 plus 8 plus double 3 is already 22, and there's no way that this cell can be a 0. So if that's 8, this has to be 1. Which would force this... Oh, that breaks the puzzle. Ah, yeah, okay. This is not 8. Let me show you why. If this is 8, what I wasn't taking into account was box 7. This has to be an 8. And now I've got a problem. What is the problem? Well, I need to put an 8 into one of those 3 squares because this is a 1, 2, 8 triple. It's going to have to go there. And it can't go there because that's just broken the diagonal for the reason I mentioned. I've now got far too many on this diagonal. So this square here I think has to be a 2. Well, it's just beautiful. That's what we were hoping for, because now this square has to be a 1 in order to bound the 2. So now I get a 1 over there, a 1 down here, and that 1 is massive, I can see immediately. But have I... Yeah, I might get all the 1s here, I think, because I now have 8 of them. Yes, so this is the only place a 1 can go in box 4. But this is also giving me an 8 here and a 2 here. And this is becoming a 9. This is now an 8. This is an 8. And this is a 2 by Sudoku. Good grief. Now this 2, 8 sees that square, which means this is not a 2, 8, which means that the 2, 8 pair must be in those 2 squares. And we can see the order, look. So that's got to be 8. That's got to be 2. Suddenly we are making a little scintilla of progress in our pseudo-cubing. Okay. 8s. Can I do more with 8s? Yes, I can. I can place the 8 in box 7. And that gives me a 9 in box 7. Can I do more with 9s? Yes, I can. I can get another 9 here. Let's try and do some Sudoku. 9s go in those squares. 9s go in one of these 2 cells. 9s... 9 is a bit... Oh, 9 is actually placeable because of the 8 on the between line on this line. That's going to have to be a 9 to bound it. That gets me the 9 in box 8. I might be able to do all the 9s here, I think. I can get the 9 here. I can get the 9 there. Lovely. Is that all of them? It certainly is. Right, we've done all the 9s. Now what? So now maybe I come back to this diagonal, do I? Ah, yes I do. Well, no, I actually want to come back to these rem bands. That's going to be much better. I've got a 2 on this rem band line, so that's got to accompany a 3 and a 4, not a 6 and a 7. And I've got an 8 on this rem band, so that's got to accompany a 6 and a 7 and not a 3 and a 4. And now the 22 diagonal, which has got 12 on it, needs 10 in... Oh, bother. It needs 10 in these 2 squares, and that can either be 4 and 6 or 3 and 7. Both options look like they're available. So these add up to 10, which means these 2 will add up to 10. Okay, and then whichever version is not used is going to appear up there along with a 5, so that's maybe not helpful. This square is totally unrestricted, other than it can't be 1, 2, 8 and 9. Oh, I have, I think, hit a brick wall here. This square has to be a 4 or a 6. Just looking at the composition of row 5. Now, presumed I can therefore do the same logic I can in column 5. So, what do we do now? I keep coming back to these square and this square, but I just don't think they're important, are they? As far as I can see, they can be 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 in each case, which is far too... I mean, it's too broad for me to even really want to pencil mark them. Oh, what about column 2, actually? I've effectively got 6 digits there, so I need 5s, 6s and 7s into these 3 squares. Let's put that in. And see whether we can eliminate anything, but I'm not seeing anything very useful. I can do the same thing in row 2 then, of course, where I need 3s, 4s and 5s into these squares. Again, I'm not... What are you meant to do then to finish this puzzle off? I don't think... there's much going on in terms of... Obviously, the moment I get any of these... You know, if I knew this was a 7, it fixes the whole cross immediately, because the moment this is a 7, the German whispers line would have to go 7, 2, 8. That fixes the Renban line as 2, 4, 3. That's going to fix stuff over here. 3, 3. Oh, that didn't just loop in the wrong direction, did it? If that... No, I started this with a 7, not a 3. If this is a 3... 8, no, it doesn't. Okay, yeah, sorry. I was just thinking for a moment that if this was a 3, I was forcing this to be a 3, but I don't think I am. Although maybe that's what we should be thinking about. Yes, ooh, actually that's a good point, because I can colour the 3s and the 7s, I think. Although, does it just end immediately? That's the question. I'm just going to check this. If that's... Let's make this orange and this yellow. So, whatever this is not. So this is yellow. Now, is it true to say that this has to be yellow now, or is it possible this is yellow? So, if this... Whatever this is, if this is 3, so this is 7... 3 puts a high digit here, so this would be a high digit. Yes, so this is a yellow rather than an orange. So this means this is orange. Look, in row 5. Once this is yellow, this must be orange. This square now is interesting. This square can't be 3 or 7 now, because it sees both of them, sees both colours. So this square here is more restricted than some of these other squares. This has to be 4, 5 or 6. Oh, it's very close. No, I don't think it's done it though. This square is presumably orange, isn't it? Let's double check that. I think it's the same logic as this one. So if this is 3, this becomes an 8 because of the whispers line, so this becomes high. So if this is 3, this is high and is therefore 7. Yeah, so it is. And if this is low, let's double check that. This will be high, and so if this is low, this will be high, and this will be high because this is a Renban line. So some weird interactions going on between the Renban. Oh, now this square also sees both colours. So this square here has got to be not 3 or 7. So that's also going to be 4, 5 or 6, unsurprisingly. And let me guess, there's still nothing we can do with that. And of course there isn't. Bobbins. You see, now the colouring has, I think, run out of steam. Because, well, if this is a 3, it's beautiful because I can continue the colouring. That would have to be a 3. But if this is a 7, the 7 could go in one of 2 places. 7, 7, 7. So you're going to have to get into the realms of conditional colouring, I think, which is very tricky. Let me just think about this for a second. If this is a 3, the world is beautiful. Is it the same with orange? If this is a 3, is the world beautiful? Not as beautiful, I don't think. Oh no, it is, because then that would be... Oh no, this could be a 3. Hang on. What's going on? Oh, I see. Yeah, this box is much less restricted than this box. Oh, the symmetry is, it's because the symmetry's gone a bit crazy, and I've got the 3, 4 here, where I've only got 6, 7 there. It's true. I'm just wondering, actually, maybe I've misunderstood this. Well, not misunderstood it, but maybe I'm not actually thinking about this the right way. So what I did was I started to think about these in terms of 3, 7 pairs. You see, if I'm just focusing on 3s, then I can... Yeah, okay, I'm going to try and not now consider these to be 3, 7 pairs. I'm going to try and work out which one of these is a 3. So we're just going to look at 3s now. And the reason I want to do that is that it's going to get very interesting either way. Because if this is a 3, if orange is a 3, then this square is not a 3, it's a 4. And therefore this square is a 3, so it would become orange. Oh, and this is important actually. This is important because now, look at this box all of a sudden. So if we're focusing on 3s all of a sudden, if orange is 3, your 3s in these two positions now do pinch box 3 and force a 3 into that square, which is what I was hoping would happen before. And now 3 would be forced in box 9 into that square. And I would have broken the puzzle, because there's nowhere for a 3 in box 7, I don't think. Wow. Let me just think about this for a second, because I'm slightly concerned that I've missed some sort of logic. It didn't feel like I did anything wrong, but the conclusion is so stark that I just want to be sure it's sound. If this is 3, I'm very comfortable this is 3. I'm very comfortable this is 7, so this is also orange. So I'm very comfortable with those 3 digits. And I'm comfortable with this digit. And if I'm comfortable with this digit, I've got to be comfortable with that digit. And I'm comfortable with that digit, I've got to be comfortable with this digit. And then I've broken the puzzle, because there's nowhere for a 3 in this box. So we have concluded, I think, that this square here is not 3. This is 7. Now what I've not done is concluded that yellow is 3. But the corollary, of course, of this not being able to be 3 is that yellow is 3, but we have not followed that through to the conclusion that... Should we just do that, actually? Because if I can convince myself yellow has a legitimate solution as bit when it's 3, then I will feel a bit more comfortable with the world. So let's just check. If yellow is 3, then this is yellow. Which means this is yellow. It's the only place a yellow could go in box 9. Oh, that's cool. Right, so now look at box 3, where yellow has ended up on top of orange. So this means that either way round, there's always a 3 in that position, which is quite cool. So I'm quite comfortable putting that in. That feels like it's sensible. Now, does that keep going? So yellow would have to be in one of 2 places in this box. Now this being a 3 is important, of course, for this 3-4 pair, because that being a 3 forces this not to be a 3 and forces that to be yellow. Now there are 4 yellows looking at box 6, so this would be yellow. How many yellows have I now placed? I've placed... That would have to be yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the yellows can be placed, and that feels very, very sensible, doesn't it? So I think the logic was good. I can break the oranges when the oranges are 3. I can't break, so the oranges are wrong, the lemons are good. And the lemons are going to be 3s. The oranges are going to, oh no, the oranges are not going to be 7s, but some of them are. We have to be very careful here. That's going to be a 4. That is going to be a 7. This is going to be a 7. This is going to be a 7. This is not going to be a 3, but I don't think I know what that one is yet. Okay, cool. So now, yes, this is beautiful. This is beautiful because now, what are we going to do on this whispers line? If that's a 7, that's got to be a 2, that's got to be an 8, that's got to be a 4 to make the Renban work. That's giving me a 6 here. That's now giving me a 6 and a 7 there. So that's no longer 7. This 6 is seeing this square, which is now a 4. That's a 6. This is a Renban line, so that needs to be an 8, which is working with the whispers line. That's going to be a 2. This 8 is giving me a 2 and an 8 over there, which is giving me a 2 and an 8 here. Wow. And keep going. This 7 is nice. That's giving me a 7 and a 6 in that order. Oh, this 4 is no good as well. 5 goes here. 7 goes here. 5, 6 pair means this is a 4. That's a 5. That's a 4. That square there's a 4. This is a 4, 5, 6 triple, which tells us this square is a 7. That 4 there means that's not a 4. So this is a 5 or a 6, which looks like it could be either. This is a 5 or a 6. Again, that looks like it could go either way. And this is a 5, 7 pair, which we can resolve. There's a 7 at the top, which is behaving very well. So that's a 6. So we need a 5 in this column. That's a 6. We need a 4 in this box. That's got to be a 6, a 5, and a 4. That's got to be a 5 to complete that box. That's got to be a 4 to complete that row. These two squares here are a 5, 6 pair, which we can just fill in. That square needs to be a 7. That's a 6 by Sudoku. That's a 5. We click tick, and that is how to solve Sudo-Cube by XeonRisq. What a clever puzzle. That got very, very intricate and interesting towards the end, didn't it? There was... I'm far from sure that, by the way, that was the most elegant way we could have done that. But I did like it, actually, because I was drawn to this 3-7 pair and the way I could extend the colouring. But then we had to sort of shift halfway through that into thinking more about 3s in order to extend the colouring far enough that we could find the contradictions that we needed. Not only did we find the contradiction on orange, which was one thing, but we then actually proved that yellows were the key to the highway. So it's a cool puzzle. Interaction of the rules work beautifully. The theme holds up. It's a really, really nice Sudoku problem. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.